Don't always say these words. We need to beep them all the time. Hello.
Hi.
We ask you guys basically to ask us a lot of questions, and we will answer many of these questions, or almost all of them I think we will actually answer, but in separate videos. In this video we want to answer a couple of questions that were related to our coming out stories. So your coming out story in Vietnam and my coming out story in Germany. So yeah, you want to start?
Me first?
Yeah, why not?
My God.
Why not?
I was thinking what I should say, you know.
Maybe I can try to help a little bit. Like, when did you realize that you were gay?
I think when I realized I'm gay, really young. I think it's like when I'm 8, I think.
When you were 8 already?
Yeah.
Wow, that's early.
I watching some show like
really
Vietnamese show like những đứa con thành phố or something, you know. And I really like the character there. They look so handsome, and my type is already kind of like daddy home or something, you know. it's never changed. I already before like that. I kind of like my uncle or something, you know, some kind of.
You were into your uncle?
No. I like some man over 30, something like that. And
Okay.
It's maybe that's something in me, not correct. So I still think I'm like a girl or something, you know.
Okay.
And I have some girlfriend, something like that, but it's never ending well.
Yeah, you did have girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, actually.
It's never ending well. It's feel something missing, you know.
When did you kind of come to the conclusion that, okay, I'm gay, I definitely like boys?
Yeah, so people say like, okay, you have a girlfriend, you should have sex, something, you know. But I'm sorry, but I try to touch a booth or something. It feels so weird. Yeah, it's I don't like it at all, and I don't think I like the pussy, you know.
I think we might have to beep that word, so that's okay.
But it's so weird. So I think I'm gay at that time, but Vietnamese people still at that time not accept it.
Yeah.
So I still hiding, and then try to get girlfriend, but it's never working. And then I have a new boyfriend, like my friend. I think he gay, and he tell me like, okay, just download the app, you know. And I think it's Grindr.
So when was that? What age were you at?
That time I'm 20 already.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really come out really late, like 20. So I tried to date the guy. It's not go anywhere. It's so much stupid guy there. I can't believable. But have a guys and then go hang out with him, and I kiss him. And the first time, I mean, like, he had a technique really good, you know. Then I mean, like, I see the star, you know. I feel like, oh my God, I really like it, you know. So that time I always, after that I always go out with the guy. So yeah.
When did you tell your dad?
With my family, I think it's like after that guy, I tell with my friend and my sister. But I think I need to turn before that, because my mother died. So that time I still have a girlfriend, but my mother says like I need to live to be happy, something, you know. And I don't know. That after that I feel empty, hollow. I just want to feel it, but none of thing woman can feel me or something. I need to feel it. Anyway.
I think we have to beep that too.
Yeah, when my mom gone, so I just have my dad and my sister. Yeah. And yeah, with my sister it's so easy. I just get out and tell them. They said they already know. And my friend too, I mean like, because the way I'm behavior is quite obviously, you know. But my dad I think it's like, when
we had the
3 years ago, like I have him, and I tell my dad it's like, we dating or something, and my dad said, I think he already know.
I think so too,
yeah, because I never take a girl and said that he is my girlfriend. In some ways always have a strange guy to come into the house and
by that time we were already
sleep to my room, as you know.
We were already sleeping at each other's places, and
it
was quite obvious anyway.
And before 80, I lived with my ex in my house in 4 years. So I mean, like, I think my come out is like flowing, and obviously people accept me already, like my behavior. So yeah, it's quite easy to me.
Compared to what many Vietnamese have told me, your coming out story sounds quite smooth in a way. Not so many problems, right? And like, I know that some Vietnamese parents can be quite harsh. Like when they can be sometimes like, oh, if you're gay, I'm gonna throw you out of my house. You know, or like, you're not part of this family anymore. It can be that harsh sometimes.
I think because my family, my dad's quite go to this country, another country, and he have a mind like open-minded, so it's easy for me, and maybe I don't scare of throwing out the house or something. My character quite powerful to stand up and protect of myself, of everybody, you know. I'm all quite loud, so
yeah, you can be loud too sometimes if you want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we have fights, then we don't have many fights, but when we have fights, you can be surprisingly loud. So yeah, I can understand what you mean.
Yeah.
In a way, your coming out story sounds quite okay, I think, compared to many other Vietnamese families that I've heard about.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first guy that I dated in Vietnam, for example, I think never really wants to come out, or never really wanted to come out, actually, at that time at least. Like, even though we were dating, he told me, I'm gonna have a girlfriend and a wife later.
Oh my god, I know that guy. That, oh my god. I
like,
mean, like, where I'm here, you know, why you date me?
Yeah, that was my feeling too. Like, why you even date me if you already feel like you're gonna end up marrying a wife and not a husband, or like this felt so strange.
I think I still remember have a guy is like he said me his guy is never have a happy ending, and I just a toy something. Oh my god, why he said that?
I've heard that many times too.
Yeah.
That people think that gay relationships never can last, and it's just playing with each other, and it's not a real love and whatever bullshit.
I think because Vietnam don't have any protection for gay community, that is.
Maybe that's related to that. It could be. So with me, I think I've kind of covered a little bit in my No More Running video already, that basically when I grew up, my surroundings weren't exactly making me very happy. And so part of that was actually that I felt like I could not come out as gay, actually, for a long time. I really felt like if I come out as gay too early, I would probably have some negative consequences from that. Definitely. And so I was growing up in a small town. It was more like a big village, actually. And people were really, at least that was my impression, had a very backwards thinking of gay. Gay was used, the word was used as an insult, like, oh, you're gay. And then like was actually used as saying that somebody is not as good as others in a way, whatever that really meant. And so I always had the impression if I tell people that I'm gay, I'm probably gonna have problems, like with my friends or, you know, at school or whatever. And so even though I think I realized I'm gay at latest at around like 11 or 12, I think.
Oh really? When I think it's like when I'm in secondary school, when I said I'm gay, people think me is funny. So I have some friend that protects me because I'm unique, you know. I'm popular.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's
interesting.
like, Yeah, it's like I be a girlfriend of some like a bully guy, something. I'm his girlfriend and nobody touched me, you know. It's kind of like that.
No, for me, it really felt like if I come out at school, most people probably would hate me. At least that's how I felt like. So maybe I could have had the chance to have similar good contacts.
No, well, you hate people too.
I don't hate people in general. Some.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think I realized that I'm gay when I was around 11 or so, latest, probably. And I always had a knack for some of my friends. Like, I always found them male friends, so I found them somewhat more interesting than anybody else. I did have girlfriends, though, too. And actually, I had, I think, like 1.5 years of a relationship with a girl. And that was getting quite serious in a way. And we also did have sex, by the way, and I actually enjoyed it.
Oh my god.
By the way, when I say I'm gay nowadays, and this is of course like a long process where like, you know, I'm 37 now, and so nowadays when I say I'm gay, when I go one step further and I'm trying to explain this a bit more detailed, I'm usually saying something like I'm like 75 to 95% gay-ish, which means almost all the time I'm more into guys. However, I've came to realize that
I think if it's the girl, it needs to be look like a guy.
Yeah. If it's a girl, usually I find them more attractive if they look more like guys. But I'm still okay that it is a girl, you know? Like, actually, I don't really care so much about the gender or the sex.
You like twin?
I do. It's true. But anyway, what I want to say is like, if I'm really strict, I probably would need to call it pansexual, but actually because I'm more into guys, I still call it gay. But to be honest, for myself, I don't actually care so much about it. But anyway, so for most of my life, I identified as gay, and let's just keep it at that. So when I realized that, I really felt like I couldn't come out either to my surroundings, like my friends, nor to my dad. And I think it was when I was around 17 or 18 or so that I had my first boyfriend. I remember there was like a night when that boyfriend slept at my place, and then he went home. Then there was this situation where I was talking to my dad, and I was like, you know, that friend that slept over at our place last night? I was like, yeah, he's not just a friend, he's more like so in German we say mein Freund, like, so, which means boyfriend in that case. It was quite funny because then my dad reacted with like, okay, I kind of guessed that already. By the way, I'm bi too. I was like, what? So that was, my outing really was very funny in a way, because my dad was taking this quite relaxed. He was not really surprised, I felt like. And quite the opposite, I was then getting surprised, because he was like, yeah, I'm kind of bi too. So it's like, what? That was such a weird thing, really. And I think my dad was the first person I actually told, kind of like, because at that time I was switching friend groups a lot.
Oh, you had 7.
He was overall fine with that, actually. Yeah. It didn't really improve our relationship, though. Like, if you guys have watched my normal running video, you already know that the relationship to my dad was quite complicated and not always very positive, actually. And so even though I told him, I would not say that this had improved our relationship very much, to be honest. So it was still difficult. And unfortunately, this didn't bring us any closer, actually. It was nice that he told me that. And I felt like, cool, this could be something that could bring us closer now. But in the end, it didn't. And it actually felt a bit weird in a way. And then I basically started to be more around gay people anyway. So I kind of entered the gay scene. And a lot of the people in my surroundings then were at least allies, so to say, or like friends or parents of gay people, you know? So...
Did you just fly around? Well, get to the point.
No, what I mean is, like, I didn't actually have so many old friends that I needed to come out to.
Oh.
There was some, but that was quite easy, actually, in a way.
Yeah.
They kind of already realized that anyway.
Oh, I'm so easy. I'm
I did
writing already.
I did have some things running with girls later though again. That's also why I said like my sexuality is a bit more fluid.
He's bisexual.
No, I would rather say
I just see him watching some tomboy video and he says he's hot. My God.
you shouldn't describe what I'm watching. Like, no, and by the way, I wouldn't call it bi because bi means you like male and female, and I literally don't really care about the gender or so of a person. So if we don't call it gay, then I would say it's pan because pan encompasses everything. So
he can fuck everything.
I think we need to beat that too. But yeah, so that's basically my coming out story. And from that point onwards, when I was like 18, 19 latest or so, I was basically starting to live my gay life. I did have some things with girls running later, though. Not really girlfriends, but there were some dates and some complicated things. But
yeah, lucky for me is I never fuck any of them, so.
Don't always say these words, we need to beep them all the time.
It's fine, people say that F word all the time in YouTube, I see.
I think a few times is okay, yeah. Yeah, as long as it's not in the beginning of the video, it's fine, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically our coming out stories, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You think anything else to say?
No, I think that's it, basically. Yeah.
Now the end video.
Yeah, end the video. End the video.
End video.
End the video.
Okay, have any question or you have a hard situation you want to get some advice or you want somebody advice, you can comment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also if you like to, you can tell us your coming out stories in the comments as well. We actually really like to listen to those or like read those, better to say. And I think it's helpful for everyone if some of you maybe share their coming out stories down in the comments. Because I feel like our two coming out stories are relatively boring in a way, as in they were without many problems.
People need to listen drama. They get the drama.
No, but what I mean is like some of you probably will have issues with coming out, or at least are worried that when they come out, there are going to be issues. And so it might be interesting to see how others solve those problems, you know, how they went through that. That's maybe. So if you feel like you want to do that, please share your coming out story in the comments, not in the coming out, in the comments down below, so that others may also profit from that. You know, and we also read them, of course, and we will definitely find them interesting. Yeah.
Why do you always say wow? It ended.
Ended.
See you again.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Happy?
Yeah.
Good.